Hi, everyone. Today we're talking to Maribeth Decker again of Sacred Grove. We had talked to her before, but this time we are talking about what happens to your pets if something in your life changes. You become ill, you move, you lose your job, the energy that you bring into the room. She has some wonderful ideas and thoughtful things to do to help your pet navigate this new journey with you, and being aware of what they are, the energy they're absorbing, and what's happening to them and why they might be acting out. So let's hear what Mary Beth has to say. Hi, I'm Debra Hamilton. Welcome to my podcast, Why Do Pets Matter? 10 years ago, with my iPhone and a script, I recorded the first episode of the Ultimate Pet Resolution Summit, which chatted with experts about conflicts over animals. Our conversations were intimate, honest, and illustrated how disagreements over animals occur and how those disagreements can reshape people's lives and relationships. In November 2019, I started Why Do Pets Matter, a new podcast that continued these informative discussions. I'm so excited to have you here with me, continuing my exploration into a more meaningful conversation about why pets matter to all of us. My guests and I will share ideas, stories, and experiences straight from the heart, unscripted and holistic. From the bravest moments to the most brokenhearted, we will explore how to resolve disagreements over animals differently. One thing I know for sure is I want to have more meaningful conversations that will help all of us unlock that deeply felt human-animal bond that drives the emotions of conflict. Hi, everyone. It's Debra Hamilton, and I'm here with my dear friend, Maribeth Decker, and she is going to continue her wonderful conversation. Remember, she's an animal communicator, and I believe this is one of the most important things that you can do if you don't understand what's going on with your pet. Reach out to Maribeth and ask her what it is that's going on, and she can maybe find out some answers for you. But again, Mary Beth, welcome back to Why Do Pets Matter?
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Just the title, just the question, gets me ready to glow as we talk.
I
So,
know. They all matter, and I wanted to do Why Do Animals Matter, but it seems that most of us feel all of our animals are pets, so that seemed a better term for all of us. That, and some people want to say that they're not our pets, but I think that no matter how you characterize them, they are your soulmates. They are a part of your life that never lives long enough, in my opinion. But we wouldn't give up a minute of our time with them to miss the adventure with them. The last day is always the worst day. I'm having puppies, as I told Mary Beth, I'm having puppies tomorrow, the next day. And as I send those puppies home to their new owners, they are the happiest people on earth. It is the best day of their life. And as I turn around and they're driving out of my driveway, I always, always, always cry because I've just started them on the journey, the wonderful adventure they're going to have with that pet, and also created probably the worst day of their life to come,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
because there's nothing that takes the place of that dog. There are many dogs that you're going to have on your adventure if you're open to it. However, no dog ever replaces another dog. I've had Irish setters, they all look alike. People go, well, just like the other. I say, yeah,
Oh,
that's never. They are just unique people. So, or
oh,
pets.
yeah. There's even a story. I'm pretty sure it's true. It just a guy, uh, cattle guy, horned cattle. The ones that go out like
Yep.
6 feet. And there was one that was actually gentle and pleasant, and he loved that. And it was a loving relationship. But I guess they're pretty ornery. Like that was like, holy cow! Like having
You had to carry that around on your head, you'd be ornery too.
yeah. But he and this long-haired, longhorned cattle had a super relationship. So when the cattle passed, they took the DNA and they were able to recreate
Wow.
a twin. And he expected the same personality. There was the problem. But it ain't the same. There's a new soul in that body. So,
And it's
I
always the
don't care how
environment
close the
itself.
DNA is.
Right. It's
I'm
the
sorry, I talked
environment.
over you.
Yeah, it's the environment as well. So this was a time in
Yes,
life when the energy you were exuding was this, and now
yes,
time in your life when the energy you're exuding is this. And
yes.
animal, as you know, because you communicate with them, responds to what's in the present.
Yep, yep, yep.
And that brings me to a thought that I had. I have a neighbor who has been ill and she has a cat, and that cat has been omnipresent by her side. And we had talked earlier about people you've worked with who have had illness or serious diagnoses, or family members have serious diagnoses. And sometimes the pets pay more attention to those people at that time because they feel that need. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who is struggling with some, illness or difficult diagnosis, and the pets you've reached out or helped them with their pets?
Yeah, yeah. I'll keep it generic, but we're dealing with that in the family now, with one of us having a tough diagnosis, and I have seen shifts in our pets are four dog, excuse me, two dogs, two cats, four animals, and there's been shifts there about that. And what's nice is I'm noticing it on purpose and being able to help both the human and the non-humans get through this. But it takes a new set of glasses, I think, look at it from a different point of view to see that our health is affecting our animals.
It is really interesting that you put it that way, because I know I've broken things, and it's amazing how my big clunky Irish setters treat me with kid gloves, never have in the past, do now, when I break something. I mean, if I've had my hip
Mhm.
replaced or my knee replaced, everybody's like, oh, well, send the dogs to the kennel. I said, nah, they'll be all right. I said, they're pretty good. And when I tell them, wait, they do. And they really do seem to read the room.
They do, they do. And we had it where for a while there was actually, I have two rescue dogs, and there was some very tough uh, behaviors when we got them 2.5 feet. It's going on 3 years. And some of those came back. I'm like, we're not done. What? And then I noticed, or I just knew that the change in the health and the human anxiety did not go unnoticed for my guy, my little dog here, who is he's so in tune with what's going on. And so when you start to notice that, for him it was acting out, but it wasn't in a bad way. For my kitty has been Bunny has been sleeping, hanging around, giving more love. So each personality has taken a different path to getting through figuring out what's going on, or reacting is a better way, reacting to it. Um, Helpful is great. Sometimes it's regressing into some behaviors that you thought we're done with, and they can all be dealt with, honestly, once you see that there's not, especially the regressive behaviors, they're not on purpose, they're not malevolent, you know, they're
Just the
acting
energy
it
in the
out.
room. The energy in
Yes.
the room, I think, changes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I said this on our last podcast, or if I know I've said it before on a podcast. So I sold a dog to a family um, who one of the family members was suffering with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Mm.
And it was a little puppy. And of course, the person who wasn't ill called me and said, do you know what I'm dealing with? And I don't know why they would want to get me a dog right now and blah, 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 even though they weren't the sick one, they were the caretaker. And I go, I
Mm.
completely understand. I said, and I have a big support network in your neighborhood. So if anything ever happened, I know I could have the dog in someone else's hands to hold for me till I got there if you had to leave. I said, however, this might change the discussion in your house. This is going to be a tough time for all of you. So maybe, a puppy might help both of you shift the energy in the house and shift the conversation to she peed on the carpet, as opposed to how are you feeling? That gets really old, right? And the people who are
Yeah.
going through the serious illness. I mean, he was having pancreatic cancer issues. Um, it- he doesn't want to talk about that all the time. He'd like to talk about whether or not the dog peed on the carpet. So the upshot of that is that um, he lived 7 years. He lived 7
That
years,
is so beautiful.
but
And you know
stage
what
four.
we
Go ahead. Sorry.
stage four. Well, and what we noticed was I did a lot of talking to the dogs, particularly my little Newt, but both of the dogs because we saw some changes, and the cats too were kind of one of the cats, Shadow, was becoming a little standoffish, and because they sensed something going on, and so I suggested that he start to talk to them and tell them how much he loved them, and no matter what, he's so glad and that they're around for him, and things have started to calm down. I did it myself. I started it and then he did it on purpose. He was on the floor last night with my little dog Mally just doing some love fest stuff before he went to bed. And so you got not only the how do you deal with the behaviors, but you've also got the I want to remind you guys we really love you, and putting him back in that energy of love and affection. Holy cow. It's
It
good.
makes such a big difference. And for you as an animal communicator, if you go into someone's home and try to help them understand the behavior of their pets, I think that also they suck up some of that energy. So you really need to give them some ability to release.
We do a lot of that. We do. I do it with my guys. I do some morning clearing for myself, and I'm doing it for my animals. And I think that is super. It's a really important thing to release that. Some animals can take it on and send it off, but some of them will hold it in, and that's not really an outcome we want for our animals to take on an illness. And I don't think it happens all the time, but sometimes they do get stuck with it.
Yeah, I think they do. I had one family who had a dog who took on an illness for a member of the family, and right after that family member passed away, she got really ill.
Yeah.
And it just was that I don't know if it was the release or what it was, but she got really ill and she did recover, thank God, knock on wood. But it was really troubling for the family because, they were like, "Wow, how did this happen? She hasn't been sick a day in her life." And I hadn't met you yet, or I would have had you call them. But I know there's something you probably would have done to help them and help the dog understand what they were going through and give them, some strength. Share with me what you might have helped them do because it really is important for families to understand that if you're going through something, it's physical, it's mental, it's familial, whatever it is that's shifting the energy in the house, you really have to be aware of what your pets are going through.
Well, yeah. So what I usually do is find out how they're feeling physically and where the negative energy is located, and checking in with how they're doing emotionally, and so I get a check on that, and then I use my not only my medical intuition but my healing abilities with the communication to start to release it. And we do, and many times we do healing for the family, the humans who are around as well, so that everybody's more in sync with clear, loving, good energy, letting go. And I think it's a restart, but from at least the story you're talking about, it'd be a restart and allowing them to realize that they finished the job for their beloved family member, and now they have a chance to move on and continue their own life, like
Maybe for the first
I,
time.
yeah, yeah, they get to do that. And
Yeah. I know our
it's
pets live in the present, right, Maribeth? They live for today. They're not thinking
they
about tomorrow.
do.
They're not regretful for eating the garbage yesterday.
uh well, I'm going to add it. I was in an addendum on that. I get rescue animals. They are still in a place of reaction based on the stuff that they went through. So I see it as, yeah, they are totally able to be in the present, and they can bring them. My guys bring some baggage with them, most of them. So I see it a little bit differently. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. I was talking about
okay.
a dog you might have had since puppy who's lived in your family. But
Okay.
absolutely,
Yeah. See,
tell us a little
yeah,
bit about that because it is
please
interesting.
do.
If you have a little puppy coming into your house, the only thing they have on their slate is the first 8 or 10 or 12 weeks that they've been cared for by whomever or not cared for by whomever.
Right. And that they can bring that in. There could be, okay, we're going that way. There can be sometimes trauma passed down from the mom.
Yep.
I don't know if it's in the milk and the DNA in this particular puppies, and mostly it's been dogs that I've noticed that in coming into the world, the birth process, but they can pick things up and we have to clear that up. So I think that they're a lot more able to be in the present than human beings, but there's still some residual stuff
Yeah,
from
residual
past life
fears,
experiences.
like the vacuum, right? So they have fears
Yeah.
that stick with them. So
Yes, yes, yes. And yet they're able to take me out on a walk, and all we're doing is watching them sniff, and I'm out there with nature, and they're taking me into a wonderful place because right here, right now, that's
yeah,
all they're doing. You are so
that's
right.
I think that's the best part about having a dog or a cat. So I think I shared with everyone last time that I have my son's cat. I've had her since October. Um, I'm I'm reluctantly giving her back because I didn't realize how wonderful cats were because we've never had one. And she goes back the beginning of May, and rightfully so. I mean, she's been with my son for almost all of her 9 years, except for the um, 8 months she's been with me. And I have to tell you that the purring is just like having a drink,
Especially, well, being a recovered alcoholic, yes, ma'am. It may
right?
be better because there's no after
Yeah, because there's
effects.
no after, right? But there's gonna be a withdrawal when
There
she goes.
is going to
there
be a withdrawal.
yeah, there is. So I'm taking videos now of her, purring so that I can play them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking
Smart woman.
but these, it really is important to understand what they've gone through, how they've we characterize Jane, the cat, as, she's loved the one you're with. She is a very smart cat because she can move from place to place, and if somebody else is caring for her, "Oh, it's you? Okay." And she'll come out because we've left her because we had to travel, and we left her with the neighbor, and we left her with the dog sitter, and she comes out and says hello and eats and, annoys them and yells at them for not petting her enough, and then she goes on her merry way. But she's a love the one you're with because I know when I go to New York to visit my son after she goes home, she'll look at me, as if 51st dates. "Who are you? You're not providing my food now, so you really have absolutely no worth to me." Have you found that in some animals that they are much more resilient in that way than
Well,
others?
absolutely. I'm looking, I have the pictures of my animals who've passed over here, so you'll see me looking. My little dog, Stella, she was like a pleasant, happy dog no matter what. She's, we're going to the vet today. Okay, I just love those. I'm like, you are unique.
Yeah,
I don't care. I'm just happy. So she was like that. And then we've got the puppy over here, Mr. My lovely Newt, who I actually have to take and um, keep him very, very sedated to take him to the vet.
yeah. Every
Totally different.
every dog is
And
different.
everybody, just like us, they've all got their own personalities. And I like to say personalities, peculiarities, and preferences.
So when you have a life-altering event in your life, if someone, God
Yep.
forbid, passes away in the dog's life, or you move, or there's I've lost my job, say, and so I'm exuding that energy. What can people do to make that transition or that energy in the room besides calling you and asking you personally to help, but we're going to put all your contact information so people can do that. But what can they do to really make sure that the pet has the best experience navigating that new situation they're finding themselves in?
Okay. Well, I kind of, I think alluded to it earlier with what we're doing in our house. Take extra time to comfort them and show them love in whatever way they like it. You know, I've got a person who has
This
birds.
isn't about you.
This isn't no. Somebody who's got birds, she doesn't, the birds don't particularly, most of them don't like to be petted. So there's another way to show affection and be there. Talk to them as if they understand and just say, we'll get through this. I know I'm upset, but truthfully, I still love you. I still love you. I'm right here. You are one of the reasons that I can put a smile on my face. You're so important to me. Thank you.
Get out of bed
Thank
in the
you.
morning. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for getting me out of the bed in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming and jumping and licking my face and saying, "Yeah, don't you think it's time we should take a walk?" Whatever it is, you know. Um, and do that as often as you can feel it, genuinely feel it. If you got, but don't like, I'm not asking you to pretend that you don't have feelings. I'm not doing that here, but don't forget to feel the love that you feel for them and find there's a resilience in all of us. Find that resilience that says we're going to get through this together.
And really foster that in your pets because
Yes.
their resilience, I think, will come from what we are modeling for them. And
Yeah,
sometimes we can't rise to that occasion.
yeah, we can't always, but when we can share it and even maybe stop and just hang out with them to find that for yourself and then say thank you, thank you, thank you. You just, you made my day. Thank you.
I mean, they just come in. I know that Jane comes in when I've been sitting for 2 or 3 hours in a row. She'll come in and go, "Excuse me, time to get up, time to pet me, time to for me to walk across your computer." And twice she has cut me off a Zoom, so she's been very good at that. But what are you going to do? You can't get mad because she doesn't know she cut you off of Zoom, and you didn't tell her no. So there she goes. So taking the time to really understand you're going through something hard and they're comforting you. And that's why they live their life to comfort you. While you also need to recognize they're going through it too.
They are. And so it's our job as much as to kind of be the leader and say, yeah, we're going to get through this.
I
And I
appreciate
love
what
you.
you're sharing with me and
Yeah.
I appreciate all the energy that you are absorbing from me that might not be really healthy for you. However, I'm here and believe me, I'm going to give you healthy energy when you need it.
Yep. And you can even ask him to let it go. Say that's,
Not your problem. Not
not your
my
problem.
circus, not
Don't
my
worry
monkey.
about it.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah. And so that brings up a question that I have. When they're sick, what can you do to help them feel better?
Well, love and gratitude, I think, is like the antidote for so many things. Um, Notice what lights them up still and make sure that that's a part of their life. I have my biggest experience with my own dogs and cats, and working with others with dogs and cats. And when they're ill, touch and presence seem to be so comforting. Now, maybe they're not a lap, whatever, but just being with them, being with them. If they like touch, touching them, that physical touch, especially if like some of ours are losing their eyesight or their hearing, that physical touch
Oh, they still can
has
feel.
been very comforting for many, many animals I've known and worked with.
Yeah, we've just lost one of our wonderful dogs. He was 12 and a half, and he
Oh,
had lost his sight and some of his hearing, some of his sight or all of his hearing, I think, and his presence was that he knew you were there, and he would pick up a toy and throw it to you until the very end. He would pick up a toy
Oh,
for you. And for us, it was important for him to be pain free, and to
yes,
um, have some dignity. So
that's beautiful.
we transitioned him, and he's now running around up in the Great Rainbow Bridge area in the sky. We are crushed beyond belief, but he is now really wonderful. But we definitely, especially my co-owner where he lived, he definitely was touched and loved and told he was loved. And I think no matter, well, it's time. It's never enough time. So it's very hard not.
Never the right time. Yeah, thank you for talking about pain free because that's really important. I had a dog that I thought, oh, she's not eating. I'm having to do a feed her by hand, and then we found the right pain medicine, and we had, I think, a couple more years.
Yeah.
I didn't say that I was just looking from the energetic point of view, but pain free. Yeah.
And that's a big thing in veterinary medicine now, is to really focus on having more. They've recognized that pets feel pain, even though all of us knew they felt pain after surgery. But, you and I are on medication after surgery for the pain, the residual surgical pain, but not pets. What, really? So now they're really working on that. And you really need to advocate for your pet to make sure that they're on enough pain medication for enough time, so that, like you, I mean, I had a C-section and I was on pain medication because you need to keep moving so that you recover, and the pain might stop you from moving, and so you don't recover as fully as you would if you just took a little pain medication. I'm not asking everyone to get stuck on pain medication. However, being aware and knowing what it is you are doing so that every day is a good day, as good as it can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then when it is that you decide, this is something that is my gift to the pet I love more than anything else. So Maribeth, I'm so glad we had this time together. This is really, I think, an important discussion. And I'd love to have you help people understand what communication can do at times like these for you and for your pet. I mean, the what are the, say, the three most important takeaways from this, that people who have pets, who are going through some sort of a difficult time, job wise, health wise, family wise, whatever it is, homelessness, whatever, because so many things are happening now. People are losing their jobs. And I mean, the stress of watching television could make you really have your pets be in a difficult place because they don't understand why you're, upset.
I think the three takeaways for me would be move out of centered on your own stuff at times and focus on your animals and remind them whatever's true and the fact that you guys are connected until you're not physically, and you're going to take care of them and you love them. Take that time. Uh, do the physical stuff that makes you, I guess that's number two. Do all the physical stuff that makes them happy, whatever it is. I don't know if it's walking or touching or playing games. And three, remember that this is good for you. This, it's like you are doing it
That's
for
a job.
them, but it's also you're doing it for yourself. You're bringing yourself back to there still is joy to be had, even in this circumstance. There's still joy around here. I can still find it. And that's pretty useful these
It is
days.
very useful. You're so wonderful. How can people get in touch with you, Maribeth, to have you help them through something like this?
Truthfully, the best way is to go to my website. I'm kind of an introvert, so go there first. Find out about me, email me. You'll find some contact information there. And
And that's the animal communicator, right?
yeah, sacredgrove.com. Yep, there it is. Yep.
Sacredgrove.com. We'll put those in the show notes, guys.
Thank you.
And anything else?
Oh,
Newsletter, anything?
I do have a newsletter. You can sign up for it because the easiest way is to pick one of my two free gifts. One is Path to Peace, Navigating the Last Legs of Your Animal's Life. It's a video I did about 15 minutes, and that'll sign you up. Or you might want to get my report, 5 things your pets want you to know. And if you
Okay.
get one of those and sign up, you're in, and you can stay with me as long as you like.
Wonderful. Well, I'm not going to put those. I'm going to put the link to Sacred Grove so that people can go and do that themselves so that they really find you, Maribeth, because I want everybody to know that you're there to help them help their pets. And as you said so perfectly as number 3, and recognize while you're helping your pets, you're actually helping yourself as well.
Yes. Yep, it's a two-way street, and that's why we love them.
Yep.
Getting a little teary.
I
A little
know.
teary. That's why we love them.
Oh, we love them. Maribeth, thanks so much. Everyone, if you have liked this podcast, please like and share. That's how people get to know who we are and where we are. Thank you so much, Maribeth, for being here again. You are a delight. And until next time, everyone, kiss your pet for me. This is Debra Hamilton and the Why Do Pets Matter podcast.